Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do a tier list of every Spider-Man movie suit. Now, you may have seen it already, but obviously the new Spider-Man suit has been revealed for Spider-Man, what was it? Was Spider-Man One More Day? I think that's what it was called. I honestly forgot the movie title. The new Spider-Man movie. I think it's pretty good. It looks like a great combination of the Raimi suit as well as the Andrew Garfield suit. It just looks like Spider-Man. That's like the biggest thing about it is like it just looks like Spider-Man. It looks really cool. I'm gonna wait until we see it in action until like if I put it on this tier list or not, because we're just gonna go through the movie ones from, you know, the first Spider-Man movie by Sam Raimi to the final swing suit that is a part of No Way Home, and we're just gonna get this going. I should probably name these. I wanted to name them, so let's just name them real quick. We'll call S tier Amazing for the Amazing Spider-Man. We'll call A tier Spectacular. I'm forgetting how to spell spectacular. Where's the T? Oh, there it is. I couldn't see like the little cross. This one we'll call it Average, the Average Spider-Man. This one we'll call it the Meh. We'll call it the Meh. And for this one we'll call it, I don't know. We'll just call it Garbage. I don't know if any of them will go into garbage. Maybe. There's gonna be one that will be in garbage for sure. But yeah, here is the tiers we have from bottom to top. The garbage tier, the Meh, Average, Spectacular, and Amazing at the very top. And the first one we have is the homemade suit, the wrestling suit from the first Spider-Man movie. In this one, to me, I feel like if you're going to make a homemade suit for Spider-Man for a Spider-Man movie, it should look like a homemade suit. It should have that feel of like this is something that a teenager would make. And I do not see that being the case with this one. Why does he have like an airbrush shirt with the Spider-Man logo on it that already has the webs on it? What's the deal with the mask? I really don't care for the mask all that much. This one is very much, I'm hesitant to put it in garbage. Also, like, to me, this isn't even convincing for like a wrestling suit, which is what he tries to use it for. Like, this is supposed to be like his wrestling suit, and it doesn't get off that vibe. I don't know if I could put it in garbage or just the Meh. This might be controversial, but I'm putting this in garbage. Like, to me, there's nothing about this suit that works even as like a homemade suit or like a starting out suit. To me, it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. And I gotta go with garbage because, like, again, even with like the context of the story going into the suit, it doesn't match up. Also, I feel like your homemade suit for a Spider-Man story should go into like the final version. It should be like a middle stage evolution, like in terms of Pokemon terms. It should look like the in-between between the first stage and the final stage. So for this one, I gotta go with garbage because I don't feel like it even leads in a good way into the final suit. And for the like actual Sam Raimi suit, the one that appears in the first movie and the second movie, I might have to go with Average. Actually, you know what? I'll go with Spectacular just because, you know, it's the first one. People wanted it in the game for a reason. Even if some people went about that in a very gross way, it's still a good suit. I understand why people would want it in the game so bad, but at the end of the day, I just never been that big of a fan of it. I was never a huge fan of the raised webs to the extent that it was raised in a way. Like, it just felt like a bit much. I didn't care for like the silver coloring of them either. But like outside of that, the colors look good. The suit looks good in general. I don't know. It's just like little changes like that. I feel like they could have done this would have looked better if the webs weren't as prominent and were just black, but like it's still a good suit overall. Again, I'm not a big fan of like the Raimi movies and stuff like that, so I feel like for some people, like, what I might say is blasphemy, especially with the suits, but like I still think it's a good suit. Do not get me wrong. It's just that I don't think it's an amazing suit. I think it's a spectacular suit. But then we have the Spider-Man 3 one, and this one is just, This one is meh. There's not that big of a difference, but like the coloring is a bit softer. Something that I like about the first and second movie suit is that like the colors feel very saturated, but this one doesn't. Also, I feel like this one, I don't know, there's just something about it. It might just be the way that like Spider-Man 3 looks, because like if you watch the first and second movies, they look so much different than the third one in my opinion. Like, the way that I can best explain it is that, like, the first and second movies have, like, this tint on it that makes everything a bit more, like, I guess you could say saturated or orange, in my opinion. Like, it has this, like, golden glow to it sometimes that I feel like just doesn't show up in 3. Like, 3, everything looks very, like, crystal clear. But to me, it makes some of the questionable CGI in that movie, which there is a lot of it, look insanely bad. Like, the final Sandman fight at the end, the way that Sandman looks during the final fight scene, he looks terrible. He looks awful. Like, even by 2009 standards, I feel like he did not look good. But if they were able to like tweak the way that like, you know, the actual footage of the characters looked, bring back like that hue to it, it would look a bit better, but it doesn't. And again, this is just me talking about the movie, but I feel like the suit also kind of, faces some of those problems too, because it just doesn't look that great. Again, the colors are more like muted, softer. I feel like the webbing is more prominent in this one. I don't know why, but to me it looks that way. So like, that was already a problem I had, so I'm gonna have to put that one in the meh. But the black suit, I'm gonna put it in average. Some people are gonna claim that's blasphemy, but like, now this is the only suit that I feel like works as just make a black version of the suit that already exists. Like, because you can tell with like some designs, whenever they put the symbiote on Peter, they're just like, oh, just make the suit black. This is the only one that I feel like it works on, but it's still not good. I still don't like it. I wish they would have just gone with a more faithful adaptation of the black suit, just make it in a Raimi-verse style. But with this one, it just feels lazy. I don't really care for it, and I feel like this suit being the what eventually becomes the Venom suit at the end, it makes Venom look worse. Like, Venom in that movie I think looks terrible in terms of Venom, even though the black suit itself looks fine. When you add a mouth to it, I'm just like, this is lame. This is a lame Venom design. It should be better. It should be more. But that's it for the Raimi-verse suits. So far, none of them have been amazing. But speaking of amazing, let's go to the Amazing Spider-Man suits. So first off, with the homemade one, I'm going to put this might be controversial, but as a first stage suit. I think this one is pretty spectacular. It makes sense why, it looks the way that it does. It approximates enough of like a Spider-Man aesthetic, at least in the mask. He's not really doing it anywhere else, in all fairness. So maybe I'll bump this down to amazing. But like, I don't know, I kind of like the way that it looks. I like that, especially with where he is in the story, where he is just going after criminals who fit the identity of the man who killed his uncle. He's going to try to go for a look that doesn't draw too much attention of himself. But at the end of the day, it's pretty average. I would say it's the best first stage suit so far. But again, it's just the red mask is the only thing that Spider-Man like. Also, I will admit, looking at it now, why is he wearing a beanie? Why is he wearing a beanie? Like, why not just get a black mask? If you don't want to draw too much attention to your red mask. But that's really about it when it comes to critiques. I think it's probably the best first stage suit. We'll get to the Tom Holland one soon. But first off, we have the first Amazing Spider-Man suit. Now this one, again, might be controversial. I'm putting it right here in Spectacular. I like it. Some people might not. I know there's plenty of people who don't. I think it's a good suit. I like the orange lenses. I like how it looks like a spandex suit. It's just a good suit. There's also that like footage that I saw like behind the scenes of like Andrew Garfield wearing it, where he's like creeping up on Emma Stone when she's like sitting in a chair, and it's like it does kind of give off a creepy spider vibe, and I kind of dig it. Like, I think Spider-Man should be a little scary sometimes, because like, he is a spider. He's a Spider-Man, and he should be, able to scare criminals from time to time. And I feel like with this suit, it would be something that would kind of scare people just with the eyes. But I don't know, like, I just think it's a really good suit. I like how it looks like a spandex suit, where I feel like with the Raimi-verse suits, they just kind of felt like they were just, I don't know, the feeling that I always had with the Raimi suits is that it never felt like, it felt like something that like maybe Edna Mode, it felt like something you would see in The Incredibles, where it just felt like a very like, I don't know the best way to describe it. Like it just kind of felt like a padded suit, I guess is the best way to explain it. It didn't feel like this is like something a teenager made, as more of it was like something that was like handed to them, that somebody else made and just gave to them. But with the Andrew Garfield one, it does look like something that he would be able to make, because it looks like just material you could get from anyone. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad explanation. I don't really know what I was trying to say with that, but like, I just like the look of it. I like how it just has that spandex look. I do like the eyes. I feel like some people wouldn't like the yellow orange lenses, but I do. I don't know. To me, it's just a really good suit. And I love the Amazing Spider-Man movie. This might be controversial. I feel like I've said this a lot this episode, but you know, Spider-Man fans can be crazy. The Amazing Spider-Man movie might be my favorite Spider-Man movie, at least live action. Like, 2 is good, don't get me wrong, 2 is pretty good. My biggest problem with the Raimi movies, though, is that I was never a fan of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. I felt like he was just uncomfortable to watch. Honestly, mostly when it came to his relationship with MJ. I also feel like you can just tell that Tobey Maguire just didn't want to be there, because like, I don't have any problems with his acting in No Way Home, because I feel like with No Way Home he wanted to be there, but with like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, it felt like he didn't. It felt like he was just kind of like doing a rush job. In my opinion, at the very least. But with Andrew Garfield, I feel like you could tell he wanted to be there. And that's also kind of why I really like, not just like the Amazing Spider-Man movies a bit more, even though 2 is definitely a problem. But it's why I kind of am more attached to like these suits, like going to his Spider-Man 2 suit. This one's amazing, going at the very top. But like, when I look at the first movie suit, I can only think of that scene where like, you know, he is in countering that carjacker and he's just quipping the entire time, even when the police come. Like, to me, I feel like even if it's not Andrew in the suit, the people under the suit who are portraying Spider-Man do such a good job of like portraying his mannerisms that it grows me more attached to like this Spider-Man and the way that he looks. And I feel like with the Raimi Spider-Mans, they all just kind of seemed like, you know, basic superheroes at the time. Like, yeah, he would make quips, but they were never like great. Especially with the first stage suit, when he makes that like comment to Macho Man Randy Savage of like, oh, did your husband make that for you? It's like, whatever. But moving on, I mean, yeah, the Spider-Man 2 suit, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, it's the best one so far. I don't know if I could say that the One More Day suit is better so far. It looks great. Again, it looks like Spider-Man. I just have an attachment to the suit. I just think it looks so amazing. It would definitely be in the same tier, but again, I want to see what it looks like on the big screen before I can confidently put it up here. The homemade suit, though, in Homecoming, I don't like it. I think it's a better first stage suit than the first one. I'll put it in the meh, because like, it makes sense for a homemade suit, like a first stage one. It just works. Like, you can tell like this is something a teenager would make, so there's like that story element there. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's just I just don't care for it that much. That's it. Just design elements alone, I don't really care for it. But in terms of like story, it makes sense. So I'll just put it there. Then we have the Stark suit. And I'm gonna be honest, and some people might say this is a bit unfair. I feel like regardless of how I feel about these suits, they're always going to go down a bit of a peg, just for the fact that they are not made by Peter himself, except for one of them. Or technically 2 of them, but one of them is just another version of the suit inside out. But like, outside of the final swing suit, all of these are made by other people, well, except for the Far From Home one. And I don't really care for that fact. I think a Spider-Man suit should be made by Spider-Man. It's why I have such a big problem with that like animated show that came out. That, among other things. It's just, I was not a fan of it. The Stark suit, though, I mean, it looks like a Spider-Man suit. It's definitely got like other problems with it, though. I don't care for the webbing. It feels like they just drew the outline of the webbing and didn't put anything in between, so I don't care for that. The webbing's also just way too thin that it feels like it's not even there sometimes. I've also seen some people point out like how many like line details there are on the suit. And to me, like sometimes I feel like when it comes to other designs, people can be like very harsh in those cases where they're like, oh, this suit is over designed. I feel like sometimes they can be like a bit whatever, but like with Spider-Man it should be simple. So like with that I think it's fair. I'll say average, because like it looks like Spider-Man. It's just got a bit of a problem with it. Iron Spider suit. This is just such a lazy design in my opinion. I did like it when it first came out, but honestly, like as time has gone on, I have less attachment with the suit, and I don't think it's as good as I remember seeing it the first time. It's not garbage. I'll put it in the meh. The Night Spider or Night Monkey, whatever it was called. It's not bad. Again, it's just like a makeshift suit that like shield Nick Fury gave him. I'll put it, you know what, I'll put it in average. I don't think it's a bad suit. That's the thing. Honestly, if it just had a Spider-Man logo on it, it would be a pretty good suit, like a stealth or armored version of it. But like it's just a pretty average suit overall. Far From Home suit, I did like it when I first saw it, but that's because at the time I liked seeing Spider-Man in black and red. But honestly, as time's gone on, you know, I've gone more attached to the classic old red and blue, so I'm gonna have to put this on the meh. This one is straight up garbage. The Inside Out suit, I don't know why they did this outside of just like, hey, we can sell more toys. It's just gross. And then the final suit from like the what was it called, the integrated suit or whatever was the official name for it. I like the gold. Here's the thing, I'm a sucker for a black, gold, and red color scheme, and this suit does a good job at it, but it's not a suit that I really care to see on Spider-Man. Again, it just doesn't feel like a Spider-Man suit. If this was the Iron Spider suit, I would probably like it more, but as like a Spider-Man suit, you know, just like a regular Spider-Man suit, I would say it's average. And then we got the final swingsuit. This one might be the most unpopular opinion. I don't care for it. I don't care for the shiny blues. I'm gonna be honest. We don't get to see that much of the suit anyways. Like, it's all CGI. Like, is there even a like actual practical version of this suit? I don't think it exists. I also don't care for the logo. The logo looks like it has deer antlers instead of like a spider leg. It just, I don't really care for it. I feel like a lot of people just hype this up because like it's the most accurate one, which like it's so disappointing to say that this is like the most accurate looking Spider-Man suit, because like again, it doesn't exist. The suit actually doesn't exist. It just exists on a computer. I would have to put it, I feel like I would put it in average, but I feel like people hyping this up so much, like the suit up so much, has honestly made me put it in the meh. I do not care for the suit. And that might be the most controversial thing I said in this video. Maybe, I don't know, there's, you know, some pretty hardcore Raimi fans out there, so maybe they'll get mad at that stuff, but like, I really do not care for the final swingsuit as much as everyone else, to the point where it has made me think of this suit as less than because of it. Like, the new one, the one in One More Day, is so much better. Like, if that was the suit they teased at the end of No Way Home, regardless of how much people hyped it up, it would probably be an amazing. But like this one, there's just like little things about it that I really don't care for, and the fact that people still hype it up even after that, it's just like, it doesn't help. I'll say that. I don't think it's as good. I feel like even the elements that like I talked about earlier, like the shiny blues and the weird logo, it's still that way of being like the Hollywood way of being like, let's just muck with it, let's change it, let's make it look different. Like, you don't need to just make it look like the fucking suit, you know? I mean, we see that now with like the current Superman movie, and here's the thing, I do like that suit, but even then there are parts of it where I was just like, you could have just made like a more classic suit. But like at the end of the day, that movie's still great and I still like that suit. It's just like there's just still parts of that suit where I'm just like, you could have changed this one thing. And that's the thing, that's how I feel about the final swing suit. It's just that people have hyped it up so much where I'm just like, I feel like it's just overrated. It's an overrated suit at this point. I don't care. Just because something is like comic accurate or looks just how it did in the comics, to me it doesn't mean that it looks good. And even the flashy blues, it keeps that like coloration from the comics. I don't think it looks good, at least in the way that it's portrayed in the final scene and how I've seen it in like the game and something like that. Like I feel like it's just not that great of a suit. I don't know, but that's where I'm just gonna kind of leave it off. What a probably not the best way to leave it off, but just gonna leave it off here. So I want to thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you all next time. Hello everyone, thank you for watching today's video. If you would like to see other videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe down below. If you would like to see me talk about more political stuff, then you can check out my main channel, Fruity Soar. And if you would like to see me play video games, I have a channel called Fruity Soar Gaming where you can check out those videos there. Anyways, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you all next time.